For young lawyers and law students, the age-old question bothering people, not from very, very long, because this is something which is coming up new in the past, say, 10 years or so. Should I pick a niche for myself, or should I practice general, as much as I can, a wide variety of laws that I can in the first few years of my practice? A lot of people have asked me this, and especially funny was this one law student who I think is in his final year, who reached out to me and said that he wanted to practice white collar crime, but not in the courts. He wanted to practice he wanted to figure out a way to not go to courts but still practice white collar crimes, because he did not like corporate law. He did like litigation, but he liked the preparation aspect of litigation. He did not like the aspect of going to courts and arguing matters before a judge, but he really liked white collar crimes. And this was a fellow in his final year of law school, and I explained to him that it is not the most ideal idea to go for a hyper niche field like this, even if it does exist, because of the fact that you may love the field, you may pick the field, but if the field does not pick you, you will be in for a lot of heartbreak, as I was. So I gave him my example. When I practiced criminal prosecution law, especially a huge bit of it was narcotics law for several years. When I went independent, this was as a junior, but then when I went independent, I was really hoping that I will get some narcotics matters come my way, because I had a passion for them. I had done hundreds of those matters, and I would like to think that I had gotten a pretty decent grasp over narcotics law. So as a collaboration with other people, or get to do matters of my own in narcotics law, being completely competent, having done a bunch of these narcotics matters, I was really, really hopeful that, somewhere in the wind, I will have, some angel coming in and handing me my first narcotic matter within the first month of me going independent. It did not happen in the first month. It did not happen in the first year. And for several years thereafter, I did not get a single narcotics matter. There were occasions where I dabbled, but that was much later down the line. And the point that I'm trying to make is, you never know what your, future will be like. Of course, the money is in the specialty. Once you start going for niche fields, you do make more money. But if you go for a niche field which maybe you don't have a talent in, even if you have the passion, or maybe the market is not big enough. For example, if I think about, if I today get up and say I'm going to exclusively practice competition law, I do have a couple of, corporate clients, but it would be a nightmare to imagine that that company would hand over all their, if it even exists, because it doesn't exist with a lot of these corporate clients, any competition law matter. And for me to think that, or for me to be arrogant enough to think that now that I've decided, and for a fact, I do like competition law. I did study it quite vigorously in law school, and I do try to keep up with it from time to time. I have done a little bit of competition law advisory work as well. But for me to think that I will make a living out of it and I will make a killing out of it, at this stage in my career, where I have practiced a lot of criminal law and civil law and basically hardcore litigation, for me to now think that I will get into competition law is something that I cannot really fathom doing, right? And even if I do, I will have to allow that work to come to me. If someone sees me as a competent lawyer, as a competent advocate, and then perhaps wants advisory on competition law, or wants me to go and argue before the I don't even remember which authority it is, the Competition Commission of India. If they want me to argue before the Competition Commission of India, I will sure as hell, pick up the file, go prepare to the best of my ability, and will argue the matter as good as any other decent lawyer. But for me to say that I'm going to choose this and I'm going to be doing this is something that I know will land me in a lot of, as I mentioned, heartbreak. And this is the kind of conversation I've had with so many people who tell me that they have an interest in this ABC thing, and that's what they want to do. Sure, if you're getting a job and you're getting to learn a lot, that's all great. But even then, I would say that especially if you're getting into disputes, because when you go to a court of law, you will have people as judges coming from different walks of life. You will have clients coming in from different walks of life. And if you do not have an idea about how these other matters are done, if you are, if you're a competition lawyer, but you've never done a criminal matter, or if you're a civil lawyer, but you've never done a bail matter, there will be cracks in your knowledge because of which you will suffer the consequences. Maybe not immediately, maybe not 3, 4 or 5 years down the line, but maybe 10 years down the line. And that is something that will really, really pinch you. Long answer short, after talking to hundreds of people about this kind of a thing, from my own experiences, I would say for the first few years, try to keep yourself as broad-based as possible. A friend of mine recently was in the disputes team of a law firm and insisted to shift to general corporate advisory because the friend thought that they had no idea about what goes on in general corporate advisory. And I thought that it was a great move. Spending a couple of months in litigation in the same team, spending another couple of months in some other team is a fantastic idea. And if you can't do that because you're not part of a law firm, there are always associations you can build. There is another video that in which I talked about how do you transition from one place to another? How do you reach out to other lawyers? How do you kind of collaborate with other lawyers? Perhaps you can have a look at that as well. Coming back to the original point, for the first few years, keep it general. And I would say, don't go after the niche. Let the niche come to you. If you enjoyed watching this video, I would request you to like it, to press the bell notification if you haven't subscribed already, and share and comment whatever benevolence you will grant me. Thank you.